If you're an entrepreneur and you've ever had to deal with a deposition, this video is for you. It's day 1550 of getting sued by Impossible Foods. Let's cold plunge and talk about depositions. Hi guys, my name is Joel Runyon. I run a company called Impossible. I started in 2010 and we have a ton of registered trademarks. And for the last 4 years, a company called Impossible Foods has been attempting to sue my company and recently me personally, trying to cancel our trademarks and belay us in court. As a part of that, I've had to sit for a ton of depositions and I've learned a couple things along the way. So if you're a business owner or you've ever had to deal with a lawsuit, here's a few tips that might be able to help you out. All right, so yikes. All right, so if you've ever been in a lawsuit before, you may or may not have had to sit for a deposition. Depositions are super fun. Let me put this down while I jump in. All right, let's see if I can do this with a mic. Ever been in a lawsuit before? You have to sit for a thing called a deposition. A deposition is like basically where I gotta put my shoulders on. Okay, deposition's like after discovery. You have a bunch of information. You want to like sit someone down and ask them a bunch of questions. I've sat for 3 of these so far in the Impossible Foods lawsuit. So I don't want to say I'm an expert, but getting pretty good at this stuff. Maybe I'm just a really good interviewer. They like talking to me. I wanted to run some stand-up material by them, but my lawyer said that was a bad idea. So anyways, in a deposition, if you've never done one before, you basically, the opposing counsel gets like a ton of discovery up front, and then they get to ask you a whole bunch of questions about a bunch of different stuff. It's like a follow-on to discovery where they basically can ask you like, hey, what's your brother's middle name? Who was your girlfriend in 6th grade? They get all the answers to your security questions, I think. Seems problematic. Anyways, for my depositions, I had 3 of them. The first one I was able to do on Zoom. That was a couple of years ago. And the last 2, I actually had to go out to San Francisco for them, and we took them in our lawyer's office. So depositions are interesting. I can't really talk about mine specifically, but, it's basically everything that you go over in discovery. So you're supposed to be familiar with everything. A lot of times they ask you different questions. They try to catch you. And they sit you down for like a long period of time. I think I sat for, I don't have the total number, but it's probably been over 15 hours, I would say. There's 2 different depositions, then another one, something like that. So they get you on camera the whole time. There's a transcriptionist there that's kind of taking notes of the whole thing. That's transcribing the entire thing as a witness. And you have like the video guy there as well. Usually you have a lawyer or 2 and they have a lawyer or 2. And it's just a lot of fun all the way around. If you've never done a deposition, if you're a business owner, you've never done a deposition before, you don't need to be worried about it, but you do need to be prepared. They're going to ask you a whole bunch of different questions about your business. So you can say you don't know if you don't know about stuff, but sometimes they're adversarial, sometimes they're not. It really kind of depends on the personality of all the people involved. So your mileage may vary. Look at this guy. It's pretty cute. It's not even that cold. I gotta suck it up. So yeah, after doing 3 depositions, I would say like the main things are, take your time answering questions. Try to like understand the questions. Sometimes the way they phrase stuff doesn't really make sense. Try to wait for the whole question to be answered. Sometimes that gets tedious if you guys are going back and forth and it seems like you've already answered the question before, but try your best. And like a lot of other things in the lawsuit, just realize that if you're sitting down for a 7-hour deposition, you're going to be sitting there for 7 hours. So the first 3 hours, you're just getting comfortable. I don't need to explain everything like an ultramarathon, but if you're running like a 50 or 100K, the first 4 hours there are just a warm up. Just like settle in, get comfortable, get used to the rhythm of the conversation, and realize that if you're scheduled for your 7-hour deposition, they're probably going to use all 7 hours of it. So again, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an expert, and I'm definitely not your lawyer, but if you're an entrepreneur and you've been through a deposition before, or you have one coming up and you're a little worried about it, hopefully this is a little bit helpful, slightly educational, and it like prepares you to go talk with your lawyers so you can be ready to talk to them about whatever you need to. And hopefully, unlike me, you don't have to sit for 3 separate depositions, unless you're really lucky. I don't know. They keep wanting to depose me. They must really like me. I'm charming. What can I say? If you're an entrepreneur or you're in any sort of situation where you find yourself in a lawsuit and you have to go through a deposition, hopefully this is helpful. Again, guys, my name is Joel Runyon. I'm getting sued by Impossible Foods. It's been going on for 4 years, and the trial's coming up in November, so stay tuned. If you guys want to find out more about the case, go to impossiblelawsuit.com. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. It's getting a little chilly here, so I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see you tomorrow.